Hello guys, welcome back to today's tutorial. This is ERD Stitches. Hope people are doing well. So not subscribe channel, please subscribe to support. If you are in my channel for the first time, please subscribe, like, share and comment. We are going to learn how to make a full straight blouse. That is what we are going to learn today, how to draft a sloper for a full straight blouse. So let's get started. The blouse I'm working with is 23 inches. So the shoulder is 6 inches. The bust I'm working with is 36. The round waist circumference I'm working with is 30, while the blouse hip I'm working with is also 36. So let's get started. First we'll measure our shoulder of 8 inches here. So then from that 8 inches we will now come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. So from this shoulder slope now, get my armhole of 8 inches. That's here. I will connect it. And my armhole. So the neck width I'm working with is 3 inches. So for this 3 inches now, I will slope the shoulder. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to get my bust point. 11 inches. From shoulder to the bust point is 11 inches. From the bust point to underbust is 15 inches. That's I've already ruled the lines. Then from the underbust to the waist is 17.5, and this is the blouse length, and this is the hemline. So I will connect all of them now. I want to make the line bolder. Okay, now that we have done this, now the next thing that we're going to do now is to get our bust span measurement. The bust span measurements I'm working with is 3.5. 7 inches divided by 2, that's 3.5. Because I'm drafting on a pattern, I'm not adding allowance. So, but if you are drafting it on your fabrics, you will add 1/2 inch allowance for the joining. So I'm marking down the 3.5 inches. Also at this point, I'll also mark 3.5 here. I'll connect it together. Okay, now that I've gotten the bust span measurement now, so the next thing that we are going to do now is to input our body measurements. So the bust I'm working with is 36 divided by 4 is 9 inches, which is this point. The underbust, round underbust I'm working with is the round underbust is 30 inches divided by 4. That will give me 7.5 inches. That is this point. Then the waist I'm working with is also 30 inches. Oh, sorry. The waist I'm working with is 32 inches, which is 8 inches. That is this point. Then the blouse hip I'm working with is 36 inches. 36 divided by 4 will give us 9 inches. I will enter it at the hemline here. So now I'm going to connect everything together. I'm connecting from the, I'll connect it with a straight line from the bust to the hip. Because the bust and the hip has the same measurement, so I'm connecting it this way now. The bust and the hip has the same measurement. So this is it. Now, this point here now is the measurement for, I'm using a different marker now for our underbust, and this is for our waist line. Now we are going to input our dart. So to determine the dart we will input at the waistline, we have to measure what we have, the space we have here, the difference we have here. So I'm going to measure it now. What I have here is 1.2 inches. So I'm going to input 0.6 on both sides. 0.6, for those of us that don't know what is 1.2, this is the point of 1.2 here. This is it. So I'm going to input 0.6 inches. So it will be after this half inch line here, maybe the next line. That's what I'm going to input on both sides. That's it. So I'll keep my tape rule this way. I will input it here and also input it on this side. So now I'm going to take it down, but I'm not going to get to the hip line here. So my dart is going to stop at 2 inches above the hip line, which is this point. So, and it will also stop at, I will come down at this my bust line, I'll come down by ½ inch, which is here. So that's where I will connect the dart now. So I'll connect it from here to here, and also from this point to this point. So I will also bring it down to this hip. This way, and also from this side down to here also. So this is our dart now. So we are done with the waist dart now. Now we are going to the underbust. So at the underbust, this is where our underbust measurement stops. So if we are to connect, let's assume we want to connect it. Now the line is supposed to go like this now. I'm just trying to explain something. This way, it will now come like this. Then from here now, it will now come this way to the hip line, right? Look at the shape it's giving us there, it's not right. So we have to balance it so that by the time we sew at this line, it will have a good shape. So how do we balance it? Is by contouring this our underbust to accommodate this difference that is here. So what we are going to do now is, we have done that of the waist, we have removed it here. This excess here now, we have removed it here. So this excess here, we are also going to remove it at this dart. So what we do now, first we measure what we have here already. What I have here now at this underbust, now I have 3/4 inch is what I have here already. 3/4 inch. While what I have here is 1/3. That means 1 inch excess is still here. So if I sew this 3/4 inch. Now we remove 3/4 inch from here. The 1 inch remaining, what will happen to it? So what will happen to that 1 inch remaining is that we are going to also remove it at the underboss. So what we'll do now is we'll come to this underboss line here. From this line, from this point here now, we measure 1/2 inch on the right and also measure on the left. So I'm going to measure it now. I'm removing another 1/2 inch here, and also on this line I will remove 1/2 inch here. That by so doing we balance this excess here. So I will now connect it to this point and also to my waistline. We are contouring this place now. So now I'm using my curve to give it a slight curve this way. I will also do same on this side. I give it a slight curve. So this is it for the underboss now. As if you come this way, curve to that place. So the next thing we'll do now, we'll connect it to the waist, same waistline. This way. And also connect this one to the waist. So this is what we have now for the underboss. We have contoured here now. So what we have now, let me look at what we have here now. I have 1 3/4, and here I also have 1 3/4. By the time I sew this 1 3/4, now this particular point will move to this side. So now this is our correct measurement. So now the next thing, that when you look at this blouse now, it is not well formed. So if you are when you drag something like this and sew, it will not fit in well. So what we will do now is we have to flare this our hip line. We have to flare it out a little so that our blouse will balance. So we'll come to this hemline here. You can take like 1.5 inch or 2 inches. So I'm taking 2 inches here now. So I'm going to connect it to my waistline. So this is it now. This is our blouse. Now I've connected it. So still the blouse is still not looking good. This place is pointed at, is very sharp. So how do I correct it now? Just go up by like 2 inches here. Then I will now use my curve ruler to curve it out. So this is the new look now. So we'll come to the armhole. I will get to the mid of my armhole, which is 4 inches. I will come in by 3/4 inch here. Then I will curve it. Put my curve ruler this way from this point here. Make sure it gets to that point. So I'll put it this way. Curve it to my armhole. Then I will also put it this way from this point to meet this 3/4 point here. That's what I'm going to do now. I will now from here also come to this side. This is our front armhole now. So the neck, I don't usually cut neck when I'm doing sewing a blouse or what. It's after padding that I cut the neck. If you want to cut the neck, you give it the neck design you want. So now this also, you can convert it to princess dart if you wish to. How do you convert it to princess dart? You just, this place now, you go from this bust point line here, you go up by 1 inch. 1 inch here. Then connect from, you come down here by 2.5 inches or 3 inches and connect it to this 1 inch point here. But now we are not doing a princess dart, but I just want to explain it to it will be somewhere like this. It has turned to a princess dart now, but we are not doing princess dart, just explaining it to you. We are doing a straight full blouse. So now that we have done this, what we will do now is to cut it out. We just connect this thing to the armhole. So we have to cut this out now. So we cut from your hemline this way. Now then to our armhole. Then we'll come to our slope. So now, remember I told you we are not using the princess dart, so I'm cutting through the straight dart. Now cut this way. Through our contoured at the bust line, under bust line, then straight to the shoulder. So this is it. You come to this side also and cut this way to remove the dart. So this is it. This is the shape it's giving us now. This is the shape. Now, if you want to put bust dart, what you will do remember when you're putting a bust dart, your front length and your back length will not be the same. Now that we have 23 as our front length, if I'm putting a bust dart of 2 inches, let's assume I'm putting bust dart of 2 inches, as in 1 inch on both sides. That this is my bust line. I took 1 inch here and also 1 inch here. So let's assume that I'm taking bust dart of 1 inch. Now on this bust line now, it's going to stop at ½ inch before the bust point, which is this point. Now let me connect it. I want to explain something to you. This is our bust dart. Now I'm connecting it. This is it. ½ inch on both sides. Now that we are taking 2 inches here, what it means is that when we are drafting our back body, it will be short. The length of the back body will be short with 2 inches, so that by the time you take away these 2 inches here, the length will align with that of the back. That is the question some people ask. If you remove a bust dart, how will it now correspond? Your back and your front length will not be the same. So now let's assume in this pattern now we want to take away this bust dart. We want to make use of bust dart. So what I will do here now is that I will come to this place, I'll cut it through. I want to take it away. I'll cut it through this way. Then the next thing I will do now, I will push it up to meet this point. So you push it up this way to meet here. Have you seen it? So I'll use my masking tape. So I'll use my masking tape on it this way to hold it. So this is it now. You see it? So by the time you sew it now, this place have short with 2 inches. We have removed the 2 inches. It has short. So that means that your back will short with 2 inches. Now we are done with the front. Let's go to the back. Now to the back. I'm using a different marker so that we'll not get confused with these things. So the back, this is my, I've already dropped the zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inch here. Then my back bust point will go up with 1 inch, which is 10 inches. The front we use the 11 inches. So I'm using 10 inches here. My waist is 17.5. My blouse length is 21. The front we use 23. Because of that bust dart of 2 inches that we removed, my back now is 21 inches, and this is the hemline of 1 inch. So now we are going to start by getting our shoulder of 8 inches. That's here. I've got my slope of 1 inch. From this 1 inch, I now get my armhole of 8 inches, which is this point. So I'm going to connect it. That's my armhole. Okay, now I'm going to get my, I'm going to create my seaway for the zip so that our zip will relax at our back. So how do we get it? You get it by getting the length of this here blouse, which is 22 inches, divided by 2. Divided by 2 is 11 inches, which is here. So at this 11 inches, I'll go up with 1 inch, which is at this 10 here, at this bust point here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is this come to this my waistline here. Now I'll go in by 1/2 inch here. I'll go in by 1/2 inch here, and I'll also go in by 1/2 inch at this my waistline here. So I will connect all those points to this place. I'll connect from this point to here, this way. I'll also connect from this point to here, this way. See what I'm doing? I will bring it down also. From this point, I'll connect it to my zipper allowance here, line here. From here also, I'll connect it so this is now our new zipper allowance. So now that I've gotten that, the next thing I'm going to get now is my bust span of 3.5 inches. That's 7 inches divided by 2. That's 3.5 inches here. I'll come to this point also. I'll get my 3.5 inches here. At this point also, I'll get my 3.5 inches. I'll also get it at the hemline, 3.5 inches. Then I will connect it. I'll connect them together. From here, I'll connect to the hem. So now we're going to take our measurements. All our measurements start from this line, this red line, not the green line again. On this part now, all our measurements start on this red line. So now the bust I'm working 36, that is 9 inches. So I'm going to put in 9 inches here. The waist I'm working with is 32 divided by 4, that is 8 inches. From this thread line, I'm going to get my 8 inches here. Then my hip The hip I'm working with is 36 also. That's 9 inches. So I'm going to input 9 inches here. So I'll connect together from the bust to the hip. So this is it. Now to know the length, that we are going to put in here now, this is the point of our measurement. So this difference here, I will measure it. So what I have here now is 1/2 inch. That means I'm taking 1/4 inch on both sides of this place, quarter. So I will connect it to 1 inch above the bust point. You can use 1/2 inch, or you can connect it to this point, bust point. Then I will also here, I will go up by 2 inches, the hip line, 2 inches above the hip line here. That is here. So I have to connect together. I'll take this point to this point. I'll also take this one to this point. I'll connect it to my 1 inch here. This way. I'll also connect it to this one from this point. So this is our dart for the back now. So our back armhole will get the mid of this armhole, which is 4 inches. Remember, our armhole is 8 inches, so we get 4 inches. That's the mid. From that 4 inches, I'm going to curve my armhole from this 4 inches to meet this point. This is my curve. Then at this hemline, we are not going to leave it straight this way. We will also come up here, come out here by 1 inch, 1.5 inch or 2 inches. I'm taking 2 inches. We connect it to the waistline to give it a little flare. This like this. So I will also go up here by 2 inches or 1.5 inches. Is a thing of choice. I will also take it from this point to this place. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut this out. But before I cut this out, I have to blend this place. I'll blend it this way. So like I told you, I don't cut neck. I cut neck when I'm done with my sewing. So even this center back, if you don't want it to relax at your back, this center back here now, you can also add like 1.5 inch here and connect it to this waist. But this is a matter of choice. It's optional. So this is our back body for our full straight blouse. So the next out now. So I'll cut from this hemline this way. If you are making it, cutting it in your fabrics, you will not add your allowances. If you are turning it with lining, you will add like 2 inches allowance or 3 inches, depending on how you use your how you use to sew. So if you are not using lining, 1 inch is enough to sew. So now I'm going to cut this out. No, I'm cutting this out. So the next thing now, you see it, this is the zipper now. So I'm cutting through the dart now. I'll go this way. Remember it's a straight blouse we are doing. Then I'll cut out this dart here. So this is our back pattern now. This is center front, this is center back, this is side back. Remember, if you are cutting it in a fabric, you add half-inch here, half-inch here for sewing. The same thing you will do at the front. To sew your dart, you add half-inch. That is, if this, as this our bust measurement is 7 inches divided by that 3.5, you measure 4 inches. You will not measure 3.5. It will be 4 inches you will measure. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. The next thing now